Difficult conversations are a part of leadership. But did you know that 90% of employees say they dread having tough talks with their managers? And surprisingly, a study by Gallup found that only 1 in 5 managers feel confident in handling these types of discussions. This means that most leaders are struggling in one of the most important areas of their role. What if you could handle these conversations with confidence, and even turn them into opportunities for growth? Imagine turning tension into collaboration and leaving your team feeling more motivated, not less. In this video, we'll dive into strategies that the best leaders use to tackle tough conversations head-on. We'll look at how they pause before responding, how they blend honesty with kindness, and how they master the art of listening. Plus, you'll learn why emotional control can make or break a leadership moment and how following up can ensure your words lead to real change. Stick with me to unlock these powerful techniques that will transform how you lead through challenges. Chapter 1. The Power of Pause. Leading with purpose. Great leaders know that the most powerful tool in any difficult conversation is the ability to pause. It might sound simple, but pausing before responding can dramatically change the outcome. A brief moment of silence allows a leader to take a deep breath, process what was said, and respond thoughtfully. According to a study by Harvard Business Review, 70% of managers say that they often regret their impulsive responses during tough conversations. Taking that pause lets you move from reactive to intentional, keeping emotions in check. This pause isn't just about slowing down, it's about choosing your next words carefully. It helps you avoid escalating the conversation and ensures your message comes across clearly. Leaders who master the pause show that they value their words, and they set an example for others. It also provides space for reflection, so you don't miss the bigger picture. The power of this technique is backed by emotional intelligence, EQ. Research from TalentSmart reveals that 90% of top performers in leadership roles have high EQ. Pausing during a conversation can be an emotional regulation technique that separates great leaders from the rest. In fact, studies show that emotionally intelligent leaders are 50% more likely to achieve higher employee satisfaction. By practicing this technique, leaders not only respond better, but they also create an environment where their team feels heard and respected. When people see you taking the time to pause, they feel valued. And it's in that moment that trust is built. So, next time you're faced with a difficult conversation, try the power of pause. Your response will be more effective, and your leadership will shine. Chapter 2. Brutal honesty. Delivered with compassion. Tough conversations often involve delivering hard truths. While honesty is essential, how you deliver it is just as important. Great leaders don't shy away from difficult truths, but they also understand that kindness is key. This is where brutal honesty meets compassion. It's possible to be direct without being harsh, and when done right, this combination strengthens relationships. The famous author Brené Brown once said, "Clear is kind. Unclear is unkind." In leadership, delivering a message clearly is crucial, especially when it's difficult. Being unclear or avoiding tough topics might feel easier in the moment, but it leads to misunderstandings and unresolved issues. Studies show that 60% of employees report a lack of open communication in the workplace, which leads to disengagement. Being upfront about expectations or mistakes, while also showing understanding, is the way to prevent that. This doesn't mean being brutally blunt or insensitive. It means framing your words with empathy, offering constructive feedback, and making sure the other person knows they're valued despite the criticism. For example, instead of saying, "You messed up this project," say, "I noticed some areas where we could improve. Let's work together on fixing this." Research from the Center for Creative Leadership found that leaders who give feedback with compassion see a 30% increase in employee performance. So, when you're faced with a tough conversation, keep this in mind. Honesty builds trust, but compassion keeps the conversation constructive. You're not just solving a problem, you're building a stronger team. Chapter 3. The Art of Listening to Lead. Listening is an often overlooked skill in leadership, especially in difficult conversations. But it's one of the most effective ways to lead. When great leaders listen, they show respect, build rapport, and open the door for honest dialogue. According to a study by the International Journal of Listening, Leaders who actively listen are 50% more likely to earn the trust of their teams. Active listening involves more than just hearing words, it's about understanding the emotions and needs behind them. Listening with empathy can completely transform a tough conversation. When someone feels heard, they are more likely to collaborate and find solutions rather than get defensive or upset. In fact, a study by Gallup found that teams led by good listeners showed 21% higher productivity. In difficult conversations, listening can also help you uncover underlying issues that may not be immediately apparent. People often bring up surface-level problems, but the root cause could be something deeper. By asking thoughtful questions and truly listening, leaders can address the real concerns and resolve the issue more effectively. Leaders who listen don't just hear words, they pay attention to body language, tone, and context. This creates a stronger bond and shows the team member that their input matters. Listening also encourages a culture of transparency and openness, where people feel safe expressing concerns without fear of judgment. One powerful strategy for improving listening skills is to paraphrase what the other person says. By restating their points in your own words, you confirm that you understand, and you also give them a chance to clarify any misunderstandings. This simple technique can diffuse tension and foster better understanding in difficult situations. Leaders who master the art of listening also foster an environment where difficult conversations become opportunities for growth and improvement. Listening opens doors to creativity, collaboration, and problem-solving. And when you listen first, your leadership style becomes more inclusive, earning you the respect and loyalty of your team. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to subscribe for more leadership insights and tips that can help you grow as a leader. You don't want to miss the next chapters. Chapter 4. Turning Conflict into Collaboration. A leadership strategy. One of the most important things great leaders understand is that conflict is not something to avoid, it's something to manage. In fact, conflict can often be the starting point for something even more powerful: collaboration. Leaders who can turn a difficult situation into an opportunity for growth know how to bring diverse perspectives together to find better solutions. Research from the American Management Association shows that conflict resolution skills are crucial for successful leadership. In fact, 85% of professionals report that they have had to deal with workplace conflict at some point, and leaders who address these issues head-on are 50% more likely to achieve long-term success. The key is viewing conflict not as a problem, but as an opportunity for innovation and team building. A great leader knows that conflict often arises when there's a difference in values, priorities, or communication styles. Instead of letting emotions control the situation, they focus on what unites the team. The goal is to create a space where everyone feels comfortable voicing their opinions, which fosters a more inclusive and creative environment. A quote from Patrick Lencioni, author of The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, sums this up perfectly. Teams that trust each other are more likely to engage in productive conflict, and that conflict leads to better decisions. When leaders encourage open discussion, it allows team members to resolve differences constructively rather than let them fester. Conflict, when managed well, can be a catalyst for creativity and collaboration. It forces people to think outside their usual boundaries and find innovative solutions. The best leaders know how to channel that energy into something productive, making the team stronger and more united than before. Chapter 5. Emotional Mastery. Staying calm in the storm. When emotions run high, it's easy to lose control and say things you might regret. This is where emotional mastery comes in. Great leaders know how to stay calm, even when the conversation is heated. By staying composed, they not only prevent the situation from escalating, but they also set the tone for the entire team. According to a study by the Consortium for Research on Emotional Intelligence in Organizations, leaders with high emotional intelligence, EQ, are 60% more likely to achieve their goals. EQ helps leaders regulate their emotions, stay grounded, and respond to challenges in a measured, thoughtful way. In tough conversations, emotional intelligence can make the difference between a resolution and a breakdown. A great leader doesn't let personal feelings cloud their judgment. Instead, they focus on the issue at hand and use their emotional awareness to guide their actions. This ability to remain level-headed during a storm allows leaders to make more rational decisions, which ultimately leads to better outcomes. One strategy to improve emotional mastery is mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques, like deep breathing or meditation, help leaders maintain emotional control during stressful situations. A simple deep breath before speaking can be a powerful way to reset your emotions and gain perspective. Additionally, leaders should also be aware of their body language. Nonverbal cues can communicate just as much, if not more, than words. Leaders who maintain an open posture, make eye contact, and speak calmly signal that they are in control of the situation, which can help de-escalate tensions. When leaders stay calm in tough conversations, it reassures their team. People look to their leaders for cues, and when leaders remain steady, it provides a sense of stability. This emotional resilience builds trust, encourages cooperation, and helps create a more positive work environment. Chapter 6. The follow-up. Turning words into action. Handling a tough conversation doesn't end when the discussion is over. Great leaders know that the true test of their leadership lies in the follow-up. It's important to ensure that what was discussed during the conversation turns into real, measurable action. This follow-up not only ensures that promises are kept but also helps reinforce trust and accountability within the team. A study by Gallup found that 70% of employees say that having clear expectations and follow-up is key to their performance and engagement. This shows that leadership doesn't stop after a conversation, it continues in the actions that follow. Great leaders set clear expectations during tough conversations and then hold themselves and their team accountable to follow through. The follow-up is also a chance to check in with the individual or team to see how they're progressing and if they need further support. It's a way to demonstrate that you care about the outcome, not just the conversation. A simple follow-up meeting or email can go a long way in maintaining momentum and reinforcing the importance of the issue. Leaders should also encourage feedback during the follow-up. This opens the door for continuous improvement and allows for any misunderstandings to be cleared up before they become bigger problems. It also shows that the leader is committed to growth, not just for themselves, but for the team as well. Setting clear goals and deadlines during the follow-up is essential. Great leaders know how to break down larger issues into smaller, manageable steps. This makes it easier for the team to track progress and stay focused on the ultimate goal. It also provides clarity on who is responsible for what, reducing confusion and miscommunication. When you follow up, you show your team that you are invested in their success. You reinforce that the conversation wasn't just about venting frustrations or giving feedback, it was about making real changes. By creating an action plan and holding everyone accountable, you transform tough conversations into opportunities for growth and improvement. In conclusion, handling difficult conversations effectively requires a combination of strategies: pausing to think before reacting, blending honesty with compassion, listening actively, using conflict to fuel collaboration, mastering emotional control, and ensuring follow-through. Great leaders don't just navigate tough conversations, they use them as tools for positive change. By embracing these strategies, you can create an environment where difficult conversations are not feared but welcomed as opportunities to learn, grow, and lead.